Moto Guzzi marks the 50th anniversary of its V7 model family and its racing roots with the race tastic limited-run V7 3 Racer. This third-generation model brings a distinct cafe racer vibe, along with modern comfort and performance for what the factory hopes is a bike that is more pleasure to own and ride. Did they succeed? Well, the jury is still out on that. But the 52-horsepower engine, fully adjustable rear shocks and pillion pad hidden under the tail fairing certainly bode well for the racer. Guzzi boosted the power and it also updated the visuals, and slimmed the bodywork down for more appeal. Traction control provides some contact patch protection, but that seems to be the fanciest gadget the racer has to offer. The factory built the V7 3 Racer to serve as the top end of its entry-level cruiser range, and it comes laden with a generous portion of all the appropriate historical references on open display. Impossible to overlook the Rosso Corsa palette on the frame is a direct reference to the first of the V7 Sport family, that also sported a crimson cage to earn the ingeniously clever moniker red frame. The bold Rouge Hue stands out nicely from the Blackout engine, side covers, front fork sliders and exhaust system, with a nice contrast against the Satin Finish Chromium tank and flyscreen. An old-school custom vibe sets in right off the bat, with a cut-down front fender, Blackout headlight can and bellows gaiters. The flyscreen is extremely brief, and though it does offer some protection for the instrumentation, its main purpose is the visual connection to the cafe racers of old. The tank has a red spread-winged eagle graphic on the odd-looking bump that optically offsets some of the protrusion of the engine heads and forms a sort of knee pocket, similar to some of Triumph's tanks. A brand new saddle design comes with a quilted area and a steep rise to the pillion that cradles the pilot's fifth point of contact, but the P-pad comes with a rather steep taper that speaks to a greater concern with looks or performance than passenger comfort. It also comes with a tail cover complete with a racing number plate on both sides. You would expect the shape of the slip-on fairing would suffice, but MG saw fit to make the actual seat that shape as well, and it's certainly not confidence-inspiring for the passenger. Maybe this bike should come with an "if you can read this, the passenger fell off" t-shirt. Oh well, at least it looks cool. The Blackout upswept exhaust makes another historical tie-in, though a pair of shotgun pipes would be okay too in my book. In back, a tidy little tail lamp or turn signal combination takes care of the lighting business, and keeps the rear end clean and slim with a plate holder down below. All in all, a classic cafe that hits all the important points without going too far over the top. An all-new frame on the V7 3 Racer uses tubular ALS steel members to form the classic dismountable double down tube or double cradle structure. The engineers took advantage of the opportunity afforded by the frame rebuild to improve ride quality with tweaks across the entire Trinity handling, cornering and stability. Steering geometry indicates a definite flickability to the ride with a steering head angle of 26.4 degrees and 4.17 inches of trail on a 57 5-inch wheelbase. Even the rider's triangle is set to encourage an aggressive forward-leaning posture, with plenty of room to throw around some body English to take advantage of this newfound agility. Front suspension is rather vanilla with a set of standard 40mm stems that offer nothing in the way of adjustability, but do provide 5.11 inches of travel at the axle, which is typical for this type of bike. Out back, a pair of fully adjustable Öhlins shocks buoy the rear end, so you can dial it right in for conditions and preference. A single 320mm disc and 4-pot Brembo caliper slows the 18-inch front wheel, with a 260mm disc and twin piston anchor to slow the 17-inch rear. I was a little surprised MG didn't offer ABS on this model, but I see it is there now as standard equipment. The factory rebuilt the V7 transverse mount, 90-degree V-twin with an eye toward efficiency, as evidenced by the measures it took within the revised aluminum case. Improvement in the ventilation reduced the pumping losses associated with the air's resistance to getting shoved back and forth through the engine due to the reciprocating motion of the pistons. The oil pump also saw some tweaks to reduce the power it absorbs, and the addition of the piston cooling jets that spray pressurized oil onto the bottom side of the piston crowns should help mitigate the heat and stabilize the pistons to help prevent galling and scoring. A marginally over-square layout with an 80mm bore and 74mm stroke gives it a 744cc overall displacement with 44 pound-feet of torque that peaks out at 4,900 RPM. All that goodness is backed up by 52 horsepower that comes on fully at 6,200 revolution per minute. The most recent update includes new heads, cylinders, and pistons with dual pushrod actuated valves in each head. Euro 4 emissions compliance was also a front-burner topic, and the factory achieved it through the double O2 sensor, catalytic converter, and secondary air inlets in the heads.